Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be checking out the brand new Sphero Star Wars BB-9E app-enabled droid. So let me show you how this is boxed. Much like the R2-D2, we'll slide the sleeve off. And you get yourself a kind of a shoebox box with the Star Wars printing on the front. Just lift this up. There we go. And you've got yourself the droid on the inside there. Looks quite good. We'll be very careful to take him out. And we'll just put him to the side. Go ahead and take the inner layer. Now R2-D2 didn't have this. You can lift these up. And you get two stands. Just take out the trays. You got your main charging stand. And you've got yourself the training virtual stand. R2-D2 did technically come also with a little legal guide, but it's not really so much an instruction guide as it is just kind of, you know, precautions and all that goodness. So there's the bottom of the box. And then much like R2-D2, you've got a little side flap here. One side doesn't have anything, but we flip around to the other side. You've got your micro USB cable. And once again, something that I would mention here that I mentioned with the R2-D2, it's a micro USB. Thank goodness it's not a very unique plug that if you didn't have this, you could pretty much use any plug that's micro USB. A lot of devices use micro USB. The downside, though, is Sphero didn't give you like an adapter, which would obviously be on this side, with the plug prong that could fit into a wall outlet. Granted, this charges, but it would only charge if you have, say, for example, a USB hub, a laptop, you know, a PC, computer. Basically anything that has a USB port can charge him, but I'm just thinking, like, let's say if you're on the go, you know, or you're in your living room or something like that, you don't have necessarily any of those at your disposal. A little plug adapter on the end that could have plugged into the wall could have gone certainly a long way as well. But here's a closer look at BB-9E's display base. It's kind of a little charging station. The droid basically just sits in that, and just on the side is your micro USB port that plugs in and just sits like that. I mean, it shows, it's a show piece display as well, so you know, you can just kind of have them on display like this when you're not using them. The other thing he comes included with is this really neat decorative base, which has some nice silvers and reds and stuff like that in there. On the underside you've got Sphero, and you just take this and you separate it like this, and then you can go ahead and put the droid in the middle for, say, for example, when you're doing the virtual tour and stuff like that. And I'll show you that in a second. But there are your contents. And you know what, just before we have a look at BB-9E, let's get some dimensions. The droid itself is a little smaller in size. It's about 3.5 inches tall. We'll go ahead and take him off the stand, and we'll just put him right there. Also some size comparisons. There he is next to R2-D2. I didn't get a chance to pick up the BB-8. Definitely would like to pick him up as well. But scale-wise, they're of the accurate sizing to how they appear in the movie. It's got some great detailing here on the droid bottom as well as the head portion here. Very shiny black plastic, and you've got some nice decorative silver decorations there. Of course, this is magnetized, so it would attach to the top, and as the droid spins, the magnet would compensate for itself and adjust accordingly. There's the head there, a couple little antennas, but these are soft rubbery plastic. And there's his optic, I would say optic eye or optic lens. And when you are putting it on there, you can't really put it on any spot you want. You have to kind of line it up to only the one area is magnetized. Every other area there will be resistance. And so we just snap that into place, and then when you're ready to charge it, just put it on its docking station and plug it in. Before you do anything, you're going to have to install the app, and the app is called Droids by Sphero. It's really easy to find, not only in iTunes if you have an iTunes or Apple phone, or Google Play, which is what I'm using here on my phone. So I went into Google Play, I downloaded Droids by Sphero, and the app has installed. We're ready to go. Again, pay no attention. It's Halloween, so pay no attention to the Michael Myers backdrop. So we're going to go ahead and switch that on. You want to make sure, of course, your volume is on a high, and the app will just start to load itself. And actually started quite quicker than the R2-D2. So I'm just going to move this over so you can hopefully still see it. Now, one thing I wanted to note as well, just before I start up BB-9E, is the fact I'm using a plug micro USB, just in case you're wondering. I'm plugging in because I don't have a USB port down here, downstairs where I'm reviewing, so I've just got it plugged into to a wall. So we're going to go ahead and select Connect. It's going to be scanning for nearby droids. It probably will also detect R2-D2 because we just finished having a look at him. Sure enough, there's R2-D2 and BB-9E. As soon as I select this, you'll probably see him start lighting up. So we'll just press the button. We'll select the picture of BB-9E. And you can see his eyes lit up, and you got a little bit of blue lighting there on the side as well. And then we're going to hit confirm. We will then want to take BB-9E off the charging station. We don't need this anymore, so we'll just put that to the side. And a lot of this may seem familiar if you've already had a look at the R2-D2 review, but you've got your rolling functions. This is just your default functions to get you kind of, you know, practicing BB-9E before you get to the good stuff. And again, making sure your volume is high because he's going to make sound effects, and the sound effects are going to be resonating from the phone, not from the droid. You can select this button right here. And much like the R2, you also have the option to control the droid. I'm just going to hold it over here so you guys can see. It is a super, super sensitive joystick. Some practice may be required. Let's come on over here. There we go. Some practice may be required to get the hang of it. It's also, it seems, the opposite. So if you have the joystick up there, if I have the joystick up here, for example, let's just bring it back here, it will run the opposite. So if I bring the joystick back this way, he'll come towards me. He still has a series of emoticon options, much like R2-D2. Yeah. And we'll just kind of cycle through these. Just move them closer here. This one here, I mentioned with the R2-D2, you got to be careful of the little squiggly lines. It would make me think, based on looking at this, that the droid would kind of just shake back and forth. But actually what it does is he careens out of control. Let me just show you. So you got to be careful that he doesn't just zip off your table if you've got him on a table. I probably would stress this too. Don't have him on a table. Put him on a flat surface where he's not going to be moving around on you. He agrees. This is one of my favorites, actually. Let me just turn him around so you can see his eyes. Maybe he's not going to let me. He's going to let me know. He keeps wanting to turn himself. There we go. And this one. This one also rotates around a circle, similar to what R2 did. Then you've got this one. And lastly, this one. I'll just move them back here. Okay, some of the other functionalities on this, we'll just toggle to the top screen here. Right here, you'll select play, and BB-9E will basically just move. And during his travels, he'll record his distance traveled, any acceleration that was, an event log, and temperature, and all that other stuff there. Here, you can basically map out the path in which the droid is going to move. You can do a straight line if you want with your finger, like so, or you can be a little zany and you can do like spirals and stuff like that. And then when you let go, this is basically where you want to hold on to him. When you let go, he's going to zip off. Now, to stop that at any given point as he travels along, just press the button again, and then that will instantly stop his movement. That comes in very handy, and I'm glad that they incorporate something that you could start and stop his path say for example, you've done some zigzags and you let go. Again, you don't want to have him on a higher surface that he falls. I like that you can start and stop it at any given point. Next, we're going to go ahead and select the eyeball icon that says AR next to it. Now for this, we're going to reach off, and I'm just going to grab this station here. We're going to pop that open, and we're going to put the BB unit inside of that. Then we're going to select the supremacy. That's where he's going to go. And sometimes over the course of this, updates will be added to whatever you're working on. Sometimes with the app, they've added a few extra things. Also as well, the activity, you know, when you're going through the virtual tour, I've noticed a couple of times that it seems to update itself, adding some additional things to it. Now, I don't know why, for some strange reason, and I'm hoping this is going to work for me. I tried this a couple of times before. I got it to work twice. Other times, what I end up getting is downloading assets where it seems to want to sit here. Now, that's not necessarily to the fault of the app, but I have noticed that I'm also down in a basement. My internet connection is intermittent at best. Sometimes it cuts in, sometimes it cuts out. And I'm wondering if maybe that's causing some of the issues where the downloading of any updates sometimes sits, lags, or just doesn't seem to want to do anything at all. And I think you guys can see it. There's like a little loading bar that's right underneath BB-9E. So it is loading right now. It's just taking a little bit longer with my internet connection downstairs. And success. So we'll go ahead and touch the screen there. And like R2-D2, we've got ourselves a full view of the supremacy. And as you can rotate the screen here, you can move it down, you can move it up. You can see the top portion of the ceiling. And then you can also move as well. Now, this is why you obviously need this display stand rather than just having him planted on a flat surface. If you have him on a flat surface, he is going to move all over the place. The stand does a pretty good job of just keeping him focused in one area. So he's going to spin along with the movement that you're doing towards the screen. But luckily he's not going to spin, and we're just going to go up here. And I just want to show you, we're going to get to one of these selection options here. Much like the R2-D2, you'll get kind of these little information stations while you're on the virtual tour. And if you press it, it should load up and tell you information about either that section of the ship or just overall did you know facts. And actually what I realized though is you don't actually press it, you have to move the droid over top of that station and it automatically loads for itself. So here we have some information regarding the First Order HQ. The Supremacy is the center command headquarters for the First Order's fleet, serving dual purpose as a massively scaled battleship. This colossal ship not only carries stormtroopers into battle, but also harbors ships and can build and fix ships on board. And to do that, I simply just rolled over top of it. I thought for some reason I thought you actually had to click on it, but you're just going to scroll over top of it. You're going to move the droid over top of it, and then it will load up on its own. And again, you can kind of move back and forth across the ship, look down, look up. BB-9 also has the ability to watch a movie along with you. So in this case, you can select Force Awakens, and I thought for it would have been only specific to R2-D2 that you would be able to watch Rogue One and New Hope, but you can see that you can do it as well with BB-9E. The only ones they haven't loaded yet are Empire Strikes Back, the Return of the Jedi, and the original prequels. Now, to watch this, basically what's going to happen is the droid is going to watch with you, and he's going to communicate and interact with the movie. He's going to beeps, he's going to let out little noises here and there, and he's going to move basically as a response to the movie. The thing is, though, you have to purchase the movie in order for him to participate with it. It's a neat-looking ability, but in all honesty, I don't know if I would outright buy a movie just so that the droid could simply do that. See, for example, plug in your device and Droids start the movie at any time. You'll need a copy of the movie for this feature, so you will have to purchase the movie. I haven't tried this, honestly, on a screen watching a movie. I feel like you have to do it through the phone itself. It's a good function, but again, I haven't played around enough with it to get a better feel for it. Lastly, you've got your settings option. Here you can adjust the music, the droid sounds, the UI sounds, and the drive speed of the droid. If you feel the droid is going too fast for you, at any given point you can go into the settings option and increase or decrease the speed. You can also put the droid to sleep by pressing the sleep button, and it'll shut down the droid. Bringing R2-D2 into the view screen here, we're going to go into this option right here. It's the little droid head. I'm going to select that. And then it's going to scan for the droids that are in the area. Now we already know BB-9E is connected, and also R2-D2 is in view as well. I have had some difficulty doing this on the app. A lot of times I find that R2-D2 won't power up, or if, for example, I'm using R2-D2 at the time, it will switch from R2-D2 to BB-9E and vice versa. I'm going to try it again. It should select both droids, and then you hit confirm. From there, though, it doesn't seem like it wants to do anything. And I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong. I've tried this a couple of times. It scans for both droids. Both are connected. But it doesn't always seem like it wants to be doing anything. When I get lucky enough to confirming it, which I already have, it doesn't seem like either of the droids are doing anything to one another. Now, I've seen some other reviews looking at these where it seems like the droids communicate to some extent. I don't know if maybe I'm doing something different here, but I can't seem to get the two droids to communicate with one another. I can still control BB-9E, and I could switch back to using R2-D2, but I can't seem to figure out why the two aren't connecting to one another. Again, there's the BB-9E already connected, and as you can see, moving around and lights all up. It senses R2-D2. And if I select R2-D2 here, it seems now to switch to R2 rather than BB-9E. And again, if I select BB-9E, it doesn't seem to now connect to BB-9E. So now I'm only solely using R2-D2. If somebody else has picked this up for themselves, you might fare a little bit better than what I have, but I can't seem to figure out how I can get the two droids to interact with one another. And I've tried this several times. Having a look at another Sphero Star Wars app-enabled droid, I really like BB-9E. He's a little bit, I think, more to the experienced users of this app, because the motion moving him around is a little at a faster speed than what we looked at initially with R2-D2. R2-D2, I think, is a little bit more well-rounded of a droid in the sense of what it can do and controlling it. I love the design of BB-9E. I love and can't wait to see him in action in the upcoming Star Wars movie. And I really think Sphero's done a good job here with BB-9E. The only thing I would say as not a nitpick, but as I would say is one thing I had problems with the app, as you probably saw during the course of this review, was I can't seem to get the two droids to interact with one another. Perhaps if they had actually incorporated instructions in the box rather than having to look online. I've looked online and it basically just says the same thing as what I did in the review, having both droids in the vicinity and having them both enabled where they'll confirm and interact with one another. I can't seem to get to a point where I can get the two droids to communicate with one another. If that's the smallest concern I have, I mean, overall I'm pretty happy with the droid. I think he turned out quite nice. You know, again, being able to move him around on a joystick, and then you've got those little emoticons that you can kind of toggle back and forth. Like, the app's got a lot. It's not just simply, if they had just given it a joystick, I would have been pretty happy with it. To get the idea of a smaller remote control BB-9E would have been fun. But the app gives you a lot of extra stuff as well. The virtual tour is a nice touch. The movie is interesting. It's something I would try to find the means to figure out how that worked specifically. The only thing, again, I struggled with was the interaction between the two droids. Still, it's a really fun piece. Star Wars fans alike will probably want to pick these guys up for themselves, just for the very notion of being able to remote control a smaller version of the droids, I think is really the reasoning to want to pick these guys up for yourself. Today, once again, we were having a look at the new Sphero Star Wars. This was the BB-9E app-enabled droid. If you guys like this video and certainly want to see more videos like this, and you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below. You won't miss a beat when it comes to future videos. As always, thanks for watching as you always do, guys. I'll see you next time.